Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Spider-Man VHS 2-pack with Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at this Marvel Legends Spider-Man, the animated series VHS 2-pack with Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage. Now, if you watch this channel, then you know I adore the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. It was my gateway to all things Marvel and is so nostalgic. So I don't dislike the concept, but I thought originally that the Spider-Man VHS boxes were replacing the retro cards, so it was a little bittersweet. However, this year, Craven, Rose and Tarantula have confirmed to me that the retro cards are still on the table, so now I don't dislike this concept so much. It is, of course, replacing the X-Men VHSs of last year, but they're only on hiatus. They may come back. We got 8 of those figures last year. This year, we are getting Spider-Man VHS sets in the form of 2 packs, starting with Spider-Man and Carnage today. The second 2-pack has already been revealed. It is, of course, Aunt May and Doc Ock with those bendy wires. Dan Yoon also confirmed on one of my live streams there are 2 more unannounced box sets coming this year, which would make 4 2-packs and 8 figures in total. So speculate away what you think those are going to be in the comments. Today, I am very curious to check these out. I'm not the biggest fan of cel shading, but I have to admit, for a representation of the animated show, it does make sense, as the Symbiote Spider-Man does have a lot of blue on him in that series. So here's the packaging. Really like it, no denying it. It's the best example of plastic-free packaging that we have gotten. Super nostalgic for me when I see that logo. Spider-Man and Carnage on the front. We get both of them on the side as well, 2-pack style, and as I said, it's the same scale as the X-Men set, so you can line them all up together if you're doing exactly that. On the back, no wave association, no bio, not even telling us what accessories we get, just 2 promo images on a little verses underneath, and then more pictures there on the side. Again, so not mad at that. Let's get the figures out and do some comparisons. So here we have Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage out of the packaging with all of their accessories. Quick shout out to my friend Neil, aka Marvel Legends UK on Instagram, the original Marvel Legends UK, no association to the Facebook group. These are his figures that he has loaned me to review, so thank you very much. And the figures themselves are basically Marvel Legends we have already gotten, but redecoed in tribute in more accurate style to the animated series. For example, the Symbiote Spider-Man is on the new Renew Your Vows body with the updated articulation and is completely pinless, and Carnage is on the Sunfire body, and again the deco is more accurate to what you see on the animated show. So of course we're going to do some comparisons here to see if they are more accurate to the animated show. Can you fit them in a comic display, etc. We're going to do it one by one, and let's start off with the man himself, Symbiote Spider-Man. So straight into a side-by-side, simply put, this is the all-black Symbiote costume with some blue highlights, and looking at the animated show, those blue highlights are shadows that are genuinely different from frame to frame, from scene to scene, so it's really hard to do a straight-up comparison. The blue highlights on the figure are just a tribute, a representation of that look of the animated show, and overall I think it does a pretty good job of capturing that. Now it is on the probably one of the best Spider-Man bodies available to us right now, as well as it is completely pinless with all that articulation, so as you pose them up they will stand out a little bit more, but it is genuinely going to fall down to personal preference. Zooming in just to take a closer look at the blue highlights, there is a little bit in between the eyes on the head sculpt, but that's about it. A little bit in the crevices there on the neck. The Spider-Man emblem on the front does have some grey paint in there to create some shadows, which is a nice touch. That goes all the way underneath the arm if you follow the lines, attaches to the butterfly joint on the back, and then again you have the white Spider-Man emblem on the back with a little bit of grey in there as well in the crevices. That goes all the way down on the front too, so that's a nice touch. Now the blue isn't symmetrical, even though it seems seems it is a little bit different on both sides. You can see it running down the arms, it's on the waist there, again some more on the arms on this side. It's on both legs as well, on the thighs, down across the shins, and then on the feet. And remember, this is the Renew Your Vows body, so you do have the updated articulation, including the toe articulation. You have the double jointed pinless knees and the double jointed pinless elbows as well as all this ab crunch articulation up here as well. So it's a very nice Marvel Legends Spider-Man body. I would prefer the blue highlights to be a little bit darker if I had to be a nitpicker, but otherwise I do think it is a pretty nice representation of the symbiote costume from the animated show. He comes with 3 sets of hands, so you have your options as well for posing, including a set of fisted hands. You also get a set of wall crawling hands, and as well you get your swipping hands. So you have all 3 sets of hands for your Spider-Man. None of the hands had any cell shading on either, so if you lose a hand, maybe you can borrow a hand from one of these guys. Here we have 2 other Marvel Legends symbiote Spider-Man. Now obviously these are not representations of the animated show, so these have 0 cell shading on at all. They are all black, but all 3 of these are actually on different Marvel Legend bodies. This one here we got on the retro card, it is on the retro body as well, so it basically has similar articulation, but it has the pins and it has no toe articulation. This one we got a while back, it is on a skinnier body, has the butterfly joints. I can't remember, is that the Pizza Spider-Man body? Maybe, I can't remember. It's been a long time. But either way, you now have options for your preferred symbiote Spider-Man on the shelf. Now, of course, the symbiote finds its way to Eddie Brock and becomes Venom. So here we have a couple of Venom comparisons. Now, of course, we do have an animated inspired Venom on the retro card, but mine is on the wall on display. I do not have a loose one for this comparison. So instead, here we have an amalgamation of a couple of my Venoms from the display. Let me move this one out and bring in my favorite one from the recent free pack. It is just a much heftier, bigger Venom, and again, they all look great. I do, however, have an open animated inspired cell shaded Spider-Man off the retro card for a quick comparison here. Now both of these are representations of that animated series. Both of them are Peter Parker in different costumes. However, both of them are on different Marvel Legend base bodies. We have the 60th anniversary versus the Renew Your Vows. So proportionately, even scale wise, they are very different. And it is a debate right now in the community, which is the best base Marvel Legend Spider-Man body. Obviously, it's personal preference, no right or wrong answer, but you let me know in the comments below. And here we have a couple of villains that are animated inspired to go up against our symbiote Spider-Man with the much more vibrant green Scorpion. And then we have Shocker, who was a big part of that symbiote episode. However, I still feel this figure isn't exactly animated accurate, as those quilted lines were not painted black. But that's just me. I do like that both of these were on the retro card though. And of course, here we have the actual Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. So this new animated inspired symbiote Spider-Man is just a repaint of this Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. So if you have this, you know what to expect in regards to range and articulation with this one. Moving on to Carnage and doing some comparisons of what we've seen in the actual animated show side by side. First things first though, Carnage is on a different base body to any previous Marvel Legends. Also the red is a little bit more vibrant, if you will, and the black sludge is more placed on the body, and it's just a thicker sort of line compared to the sloppiness of the comic versions. It only makes sense if I show you a side by side and you can see what I mean. The reds are a lot more vibrant on this animated one, and the black sludge is just thicker and just isn't as everywhere as the previous version, if that makes any sense. But both of them could work as a comic Carnage, and both of them could work as an animated Carnage. It is genuinely personal preference, but they have tried to place the deco. Taking a closer look, the head sculpt is just a repaint to previous Carnage Marvel Legend heads, but this time it's just got a bit more black on there with the white eyes. On the back, the first accessory piece is this that attaches into the back, this sort of red sludge that goes into a hole, and then that creates that silhouette from the front. You also get that on the forearms on both sides, but it has been removed from the hands as well. We do get an interchangeable head though, which is Cletus Kasady, and to be fair, I did always like this head sculpt for Cletus Kasady. Again, we've had it before. This time it is just redecoed a little bit. So you've got the red hair, a little bit of green in his eyes, and that big Joker-esque sinister grin. So I really like that. This one has the digital face printing tech as well, so it's really nice. But again, it is just a repaint of a previous head sculpt that we have got with Carnage before. So I'll show you a quick side by side and you can see for yourself, both of them are actually really nice options, but both of them have a slightly different deco, and this animated one is a little bit more brighter and vibrant in tone. But if we come back to the body itself, I just want to show you that obviously the black sludge is just thicker than the previous versions, and there's less of it on the back as well, if that makes sense. There's definitely more red on the back. So they have tried to make the black sludge more accurate to what you've seen on the animated show compared to the craziness of any previous Carnage. In regards to accessories, we do have a couple of hand options. Out of the box, he comes with these two claws, which we have seen before. These are a little bit more streamlined as they don't have any symbiote like coming off the palm. But we do get options with his bigger claw hand, which does have some symbiote goo coming off it. And then, of course, his trademark symbiote axe, which we do actually see him use in the animated show. This time around, it actually has some black deco on it to make it stand out from any previous version. I like that it has the up and down hinge as well, which is much better for posing. And if I bring in the previous Carnage, you can see both hands and axe we have seen before. As I said, the axe just has some more deco on it, but it is the exact same sculpt in both the hand and the axe. But the bodies are different. As I said, this new animated Carnage, a little bit more vibrant, and it is on an updated body. It does still have the pins, but it is still technically an upgrade as it now has the deep butterfly joints, and it will be better for posing. So as you can see, it is up to you. If you have the previous Carnage, you may not feel the need to get this new one unless you're creating a different display, but I'm just showing you the differences, and it's always nice to have your options. But that's a lot of Carnage. As they have changed the body mold for Carnage, let me quickly show you the articulation range. So you've got a really deep butterfly joint with the arms going all the way back, which really helps for like these axe wielding poses. So you can get it really swinging backwards. Double jointed knees that are really deep as well. Double jointed elbows, bicep swivel, shoulder range is pretty good. You've got a hinge in the wrist. There's a boot cut, even though he's not wearing boots. Ankle pivot and rocker. Thigh cut. Legs can go really far up, far out as well. Look at that. That's pretty virtually sideways. And then you've got an ab crunch as well, forward and back. So head's on a disc and hinge. You can get the head looking all the way up. Honestly, for a Carnage, this has a great range, and I think he's going to be able to get posed up better than some of our previous Carnages for sure. And we still have more Carnage, as I've just brought in the Monster Venom Build-A-Figure Wave Absolute Carnage. Now, I love this one. It may be my favourite Marvel Legend Carnage, as all this black sludge and symbiote texture all over the body is actually sculpted on there in comparison to these two, which just have the flat black deco on the base bodies. Now, again, both of these base bodies are a little bit different. I think these two have the better articulation compared to this one. A little bit outdated now, but all of them still have their Carnage charm. This one couldn't be an animated inspired one. These two could, but the one in the middle with the brighter, vibrant red and the thicker black sludge, definitely a better representation than what we see on the animated show. But as I said, all of them are still Carnage. Now bringing in the comic Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and the cel-shaded animated Spider-Man, just to show you that Carnage's character design lends itself to go in either direction. It can be your animated or your comic Carnage. There is no wrong answers. It is personal preference, genuinely up to you. What's important is, does it represent the character to your mind's eye? Put him wherever you need him to be, but I think he works quite well as an animated look. It's always fun to compare Carnage with Venom, so here we have two versions of Venom compared to this animated Carnage, and again, they work paired together for any display you want. And because the Carnage character design doesn't really require any cel shading, you can put him with other animated inspired characters that just have a more brighter palette, as here we have War Machine and Iron Man, who were both in that Spider-Man animated series. I believe they were all in the same episode as well. Definitely War Machine for Carnage, and I think Dormammu even helped Cletus Kasady get the Carnage symbiote in the first place. Trust me, that show was great. Let's bring Symbiote Spider-Man back in for the last couple of comparisons. I just wanted to bring in a couple of the cel-shaded VHS X-Men who were released last year via the same format. And as I said, these were all in the same animated era. Spider-Man crossed over with the X-Men and the X-Men crossed over with Spider-Man. So they could all work on a Marvel animated display. And then to wrap up, here we have Frogman, Tigra and White Rabbit. And then last and absolutely never least, here we have Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends VHS Spider-Man the Animated Series 2-pack with Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage. Now, let's just call this set what it is. This is a creative reuse. These parts and pieces are already in the Marvel Legends library. There is nothing new here. It is just repainted and redecoed to pay tribute to something ever so nostalgic to us. Well, at least to me. And I'm the type of sucker where you slap a gimmick on it like the VHS and I'm in. Again, I would genuinely prefer Carnage to be on a retro card if it was my selfish decision, as we've already got so many characters from the Spider-Man Rose Gallery on those retro cards. It would have been nice to have Carnage on there as well. However, I understand the VHS are going to give us options this year, as we are already confirmed to get Doc Ock. Hopefully a few more characters are needed, are coming one way or the other. Chameleon. But you can tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Are you in on this set or are you giving it a miss? Again, no right or wrong answers, people. Hopefully this review has helped you make your decision. But as always, you let me know in the comments below. And if you like Marvel Legends, and well, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please, hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. My name is Dan W. You can find me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and I'm on Twitter at Dan Who Reviews. And if you do want to see more comparisons or pictures, then please just DM me. I'll easily make that happen for you. Not a problem at all. Be nice in the comments, and I will see you on the next one.